Hi everyone. Today Kamie and Charul are together here in this small studio, and we have been waiting for this moment for a while. So now today we are together and we are here to talk about the struggles and challenges of moving to a new country as a woman on your own. So Kamie and I met, it's been 4 months nearly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe I would say a bit more.
More, yeah. And then we met first in Alliance Francais. We decided to learn French, and Kamie moved from.
I moved here from Cyprus. I'm originally
Yeah.
from Bulgaria.
Yeah.
And I moved around the end of July.
Yeah.
So it's been a good 8 or 9 months
8
already.
or 9 months now. Wow. We met in Alliance Francais and we decided to learn a new language. It was my first time learning a European language, and then we formed a bond together because we shared a lot of similar experiences. We had, we connected with each other on so many different aspects of our life, the challenges and struggles we have faced. So tell us about how did you decide to move from Cyprus to Ireland, and how these eight months have been like? Yeah.
Well, as I mentioned before, I lived in Cyprus for 17 years. I worked in finance there. And once the war in Ukraine started, I always worked for Russian companies. So, with the restrictions and everything, the company I was working for, they made a lot of people redundant. So I had to find a new way out of the situation. And I got an offer here from an Irish company, and I just decided to take the chance and change countries.
Yeah. And you came here by yourself? And
yeah, I came here on my own, and I had a school friend from back when I was very, very young. So we've known each other for a lot of years. So she was great support for me in the beginning because, with the housing crisis, it's not easy to find an apartment. So I was I had support from her.
And so I remember our conversation when we met in Belize a few weeks ago, and then you just went to see your mommy in Switzerland, and then when you came back to Ireland, and we decided to meet, but you had shared with me that it was very different experience coming back to Ireland, like meeting your family back home, and then suddenly you come back, you miss a lot of different aspects of, we shared a very deeper conversation that day. So let's talk about it, because I had the similar experience. Now when I go and see my family, and coming back is never the same. So let's talk about some of the aspects of that. How does it feel like for both of us?
As I mentioned before, I think you kind of pass through some initial months of like a honeymoon stage. So you're like, oh, I'm in a new country, and I'm moving back from Cyprus where it was like 40 degrees in August when I came here. So I was excited to see some better weather and, rain even. And there are just so many museums, so many things to see and to explore. So the first few months, it was a great experience. As we said, then Christmas period came, which was also kind of great. And then, I went to see my mother for a week. She lives in Switzerland. And you come back here in the middle of winter, Irish winter. It gets dark so early.
Really?
It rains all the time. You are stuck at home, and you just kind of think, okay, I'm in a new country again, alone.
Right.
I don't have any family. You do have some friends, let's say, but just someone, like people you met like a few months ago. So you don't have like almost no support system.
Right.
You start thinking about these things. You start, especially at our age, you start thinking of, was this a mistake? What would happen to me if I get sick?
Right.
It's just this kind of feelings like you don't expect them in the beginning because you're all excited and it's a new country. But then somehow it suddenly hits you when you go back home and then you return.
Right.
Especially if you're visiting your parents. I don't know if this is the same kind of thing you feel when you go back to India.
I feel I wanted to talk about that too, that similar like your experience. So I'm in Ireland for 8 years. And initially when I came, I was 24, and now I'm almost 33. And 24, my 20s, I didn't feel that strongly because life was happening and it was a honeymoon period. I was enjoying everything.
It's the party time of life.
Party time, like travel and, trying to explore myself. I love the cultures, love like all the international experience. But then Now, as I turned my 30s, right? I just turned 30, and when I visited my family, it wasn't the same. Like literally, life hits. It did hit me. And then now, in my recent visit to India, it was last month, and I came back. I think it was the same time when you went home.
Yeah, it was kind of the same period. Yeah.
So we met in Bewley's, and after you came back, we had a chat, and then I had to go home in 3 weeks' time.
Yes.
And after I came back, it was not the same thing. I saw life in a very different way. Things were, it was almost like a new chapter of my life.
And you feel like it takes you maybe even a month just to get back to your routine.
Right. And the routine was also not the same.
Yes.
Now I'm missing that emotional, the need of emotional side of things a lot more. I'm missing that care and love that you receive when you go and meet your family. And also, in the previous visit, it was more emotional for me. Like this time when we were discussing, it was more emotional for you. It was very emotional for me. It took me nearly 4 weeks to come out of it, but still life wasn't the same. I was making different choices. My perspective completely changed. But this visit was more, I was at the guilt side. That what I am doing, why I'm living away from my family, why I'm doing it for my own selfish. Am I very selfish? I'm mean, or, these kind of things I was thinking about. And I was feeling bad about it, but it was more on the guilt side.
Yeah, especially because you feel like your parents are now aging and they might start needing you soon, and you start feeling like, okay, I'm enjoying my life in a foreign country, but if they need me, it would take like half a day, the shortest, at least for me, because Bulgaria is kind of closer than India. But if there is an emergency, they can't rely on you. You can't rely on them as well. So I understand that you feel guilty because yes, you feel like, yes, I'm building my career here. Let's say I'm meeting new people. It's a new country. It's great. It's a perfect experience. But in the same time, your family is back home somewhere. They cannot rely on you. You cannot rely on them.
No.
So.
And now when they get old, my parents are in their 60s and 70s, and I'm the only child.
Yes.
And that also brings that, that guilt goes very strong, that I'm not there now when they're getting issues. Like everyone gets some issues in their old age, diabetes, or maybe some issue with the knees, or there are things that are inevitable. Now they get it, and I feel very helpless that there is no one can support my parents being an only child, but I have to be here for my career because that's the path I chose for myself 8 years ago. So that conflict comes in, that what should I do? I go back or I stay. This is about my life as well. Then my parents as well are struggling there by themselves on their own. So that struggle remains. It's still there with me, and it literally changed the way I am approaching things in my life, or maybe it just completely changes how I looked at my life before that visit. And now the way I look at it is completely different. And I cannot go back to that person. I cannot change the way I used to look at things before that visit. Now it's completely different.
Yeah, and this is the other thing we discussed with you before, that once you leave your country, and even if you live just for a year abroad, you come back a different person. You feel like you cannot connect with the culture back home. You feel like you're a foreigner there, and then you're a foreigner here. So you kind of always feel like a tree without roots, if you have this expression.
It's like almost a guest feeling, that
you're a guest everywhere.
Here.
Exactly. You feel like you're a guest everywhere.
No, and so it's you're right. It feels like guest here, and then you're guest there. You're never. I think I'm missing a sense of belongingness right now.
Yes, definitely.
Do you feel that too?
Yeah, definitely. And the other thing which could affect this is, let's say you move to Ireland, right? It's always easier and more convenient to try and keep friends with someone who is a foreigner as well. Or someone, let's say for me, someone from Bulgaria, because I can connect better with them. But I feel like it's really important to try and find Irish friends, like local friends. Just to get this type of understanding of the local culture, of the way they live their lives. Also, if you can explore as much as you can. And what I also started doing is I started reading a lot of about Irish history, because I want to get like a feeling of the country and where people come from and what's their mentality like. I find this to be very important, because it kind of grounds you and you start feeling like you belong more. Like you would never belong 100% anywhere. I think it's a fact that you have to accept this fact.
Yeah.
Like you will not belong at home ever, even if you were to move back tomorrow.
Yeah.
You will never belong here. And even if you go to a new country, you go through the same struggle. So it's something you just have to accept, that you won't belong 100% anywhere.
True. Right.
But just try to immerse yourself, let's say, in the local culture. Try to find some friends who are Irish, like I said, read about the history. It's a lovely country. People are so friendly.
Yeah. Yeah.
All of the Irish people I met, they're so much fun. They're always joking. They accept foreigners. They're not.
Absolutely.
So I would suggest that this is something that kind of helps, I guess.
Yeah. Now, and you said something really important there, that belongingness. So when I was in India, right, I was always curious and I wanted to explore the world. So I felt that I didn't belong from one aspect of society, that because I was never homogeneous. I always liked spreading my wings out.
Yes.
Always was curious to travel and explore cultures. So I think it also goes back to belongingness, that I didn't really fully belong there at that time. It was a very nice point to mention. And then I decided, it was my decision to go and explore and, work towards my own, nurture my personality or nurture my being when I'm traveling and living in another country. But the biggest challenge I'm facing right now is when I was in my 20s, I was very independent. I didn't needed any, I didn't even look for anybody to care for me or to support me in any way. It was a very different kind of energy I was living in. But now in my 30s, every time I go back and see my family, the care, the love, the pamper, and all the love your mommy, daddy gives you is beyond. It's just nothing can replace it. Maybe probably I had several experiences in the last many years. And now at this stage, nothing could replace that. And I crave for it. I crave for the love. I crave for which there are so many communities I'm involved with. There are so many friends. There is such a connection, but nothing can replace that.
Yeah.
And
I think it's, I mean, I wouldn't say we're old, but we're definitely getting older. So let's say this, what we spoke about before, like if you get sick, even if you just get the flu, right?
Yeah.
You're living on your own.
Yeah.
You have no one to bring you soup.
No, there's no.
Your mom is not there to cook you dinner just because you don't have energy.
It makes me cry. It really makes me cry.
And this kind of, it makes you think, what if I got really sick? Like, what if I got so sick to the point where I needed someone to physically care for me because I won't be able to? So this is a scary thought. That I also, after 30, definitely you start thinking about this.
Right.
And I think it will get worse as we age.
It's worse. I'm getting there every few weeks. Every week I'm thinking about what should I do with my life? Where should I be? I need to be with my parents, because otherwise it will be a guilty factor from the whole of my life that I wasn't there with them in their old age. I wasn't there to support them now. Now, when I'm getting to that stage where I'm very emotional, I'm kind of realizing the importance of family, realizing the importance of deeper connections in your life.
Yes.
And that how important they are. You can have friends, you can have community, but it's so important to have those few people you can always call upon. Now, there were times I looked at my WhatsApp list when I was sick or I was going through some struggle. I scrolled the list, but I couldn't find a name that I could be very confident on reaching out that, hey.
Or just comfortable. That's the thing. We always feel like, I don't want to be a burden on someone, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes that's why, like me and you, let's say, I think we got so close so quickly because you feel like, okay, we're both in the same situation. So let's try to support each other. If you get sick, I will bring you soup.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or any pills you might need.
I can be confident on that because I know we connected on different aspects. We both immigrated. So
sometimes that's easy. It's easier for, let's say, me and you as foreigners in a foreign country.
Yeah.
You start having a stronger friendship faster than what you would do back home, let's say, because you kind of feel like, okay, at least I can rely on someone here,
Yeah. Right. So so when I look back in now, when you go back home, you are getting pampered from your parents. And then, you look back in time that when you were sick, your parents will bring you all the nice delicacies and, different muffins and, traditional food for you to eat because they want they look after you so nicely when you're, sick. I used to get a lot of fever, cold and flu. My daddy will be like, take off from work and is there to look after me, that, hey, I bought this samosa for you, I bought this patties for you. And, that would make you feel so good. And that's what, as a human being, when we grow up, we long for that feeling, that love, the unconditional love that our parents gave us. Now, there have been times that I have shared houses. I get sick quite quickly. I don't know what the reason is. Maybe vitamin C deficiency at times. I catch flu in winters and during different seasonal changes. There have been times that I was sick and I was bedridden for 5-7 days because you're on antibiotics. You feel so low. I shared houses, but nobody cared about it. Nobody even asked, where is Charul? What is she doing? I didn't see her for days. What's going on with her? Why is she in the bedroom all the time?
I think this is something that I grew up in Bulgaria and then I moved to Cyprus. I think Western culture, I noticed it here and it kind of shocked me. I guess I always expected it to be like this, but like Cyprus is a Mediterranean island. People are very caring. They're used to having like, a social group. You care about each other. You meet each other often. You spend time. You drink coffee. You go for walks. They're very close to their families as well. It's something that I see it's lacking here, even among the foreigners. Like what you said, you are sick, and yes, people would say, I hope you get better soon, but they wouldn't ask you, do you want me to bring you Panadol? Like, can you actually go and do your own shopping this week? So this is something that I can't say I'm very happy about. Because people are, I don't know, but for me, this is kind of arrogant. Like, I understand you can do everything on your own. I can do everything on my own. I can pay my own bills. I can live alone. But we need to work on this as a society, I believe, to try and be more, to look outside. Does my neighbor need help? Does my friend from work need help? Maybe she is struggling this week. Maybe I can lend her a helping hand. Like, maybe I can ask, but not in just like, how are you? Are you okay? Yes. Okay. Bye. I think it's something the West needs to work on, because in the end of the day, it's very arrogant to think that you don't need anyone, because we all do. We all get sick. We all, something might break in our house. You can't fix it. So for me, this kind of arrogance is not something we should strive to do. Like, society now teaches us, be okay on your own, be strong on your own. Yes, this is a great thing. Like, try to be this person, but also try to look around and see if someone needs you, because I'm telling you, one day you will need someone to care for you as well.
Absolutely. We all do. And and
I don't know if you experience the same thing here.
Yes, definitely, because I see that we do ask people, how are you? How are you doing? Do we really mean it? We are not meaning it at all. It's getting very superficial. We are not getting deeper into understanding people, connecting more on the, a deeper level, to understand, to find out what that person is, what's the, everything about that personality. And it's very different when you go far in the East. You find it that connection is more stronger there. It's very community driven connection, that if somebody hasn't seen you for a day, people will be asking for you that, hey, what happened to you? I'm not seeing you. Are you okay? Do you need medicine? Do you need to cook food for us? So this is how it works in those communities. And that's the positive aspect of it, because in no matter what aspect of phase of your life you are in, you're always surrounded by people who are looking after you in different other aspects. There's so many different aspects, and you're never lonely. You're never alone. And now I find that I am surrounded by people, but I'm not, that emotional aspect is missing. Even you can try, I try, because I come from that environment or culture that, okay, you have to go extra mile to find out how that person is doing. Always bridge that gap. Always be there. That I always say from to my friends that if you need me, I'm there for you. I'm there. You can always call upon me. I say that, but I see that in the bigger shell, if you see, we are becoming very individualistic in the West. We are losing it gradually. We're losing that.
The individualism is something I really I knew it kind of existed, but maybe the kind of culture I was living in for the last 17 years, as I said, Mediterranean people are very caring, they're very sociable, so I didn't really experience it.
Yeah.
But moving here, definitely everyone is, as I said, living on their own. They're fine on their own. I don't need anyone.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think this is good for the society in general. And I think things will get worse and worse.
Yeah, in the West.
Because it's kind of promoted. It's kind of like it's in fashion to be, especially for women, oh, let's be an independent woman.
Yeah.
Yes, it's great. Be an independent. It's perfect. Yes, but don't. I think we're taking it to an extreme.
Yeah.
That doesn't benefit us or anyone around us.
Literally not. Now let's talk about your volunteering these days, right? Where is that volunteering? You can tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, when I came back from my mother and I went through this period where I was feeling extremely lonely, I thought to myself, like, okay, I am still young. It's still quite easy for me to make friends here. But can you imagine what it is? I think I was watching a movie. I can't remember really what triggered this thought, but I searched for kind of a friendship companion, like for the elderly.
Okay.
And I found an organization here that was called Friends of the Elderly.
Okay.
So they basically match you with someone in your area, or, you know, someone elderly who is feeling lonely or just doesn't have any family around. So you go like once per week and you spend 1 hour with them. And there is such a need for this. I was shocked when I understood. Like, people are feeling so lonely at this age because obviously you don't have as much physical energy to go out and meet new people. You might not have had kids in your life, or maybe your partner died. So you're on your own. Everyone, like your friends, they could be also not so easy to move around.
Yeah.
So for me, this is the other thing of Western culture, which I could understand, but I definitely don't agree with, like leaving your elderly on your own.
Yeah, truly.
It's something it doesn't happen in Cyprus or even in Bulgaria.
And that's a guilty feeling I have right now. Yeah. That doesn't let me live peacefully.
But like, as you said, in India, like your neighbors would at least go and check on your parents. They would ask them if they need anything. Here, I moved to my building, and when I was moving in, I met one of the neighbors. And I was like, oh, hi, I just moved to the building, and I wanted to have like a conversation. And the only thing they said was like, oh, hi.
Yeah.
And they kept going. For me, it's after Cyprus, it's also a weird thing because I'm used to people. At least I would know their names, or, you know, you meet and you ask, how are you? What's happening? So you kind of always feel like there is someone around. Like, you live in the same building. Why not help each other? Why not? If there is an emergency, I would come and knock on your door. Do you need help to leave the building or something?
Yeah.
I think this is a human thing that we all kind of need to be more aware of.
Yes. We need more aware society. We need more.
Yeah. So for me, like,
connected society.
Yeah. Like, I'm volunteering in this organization, but I cannot believe it that like a foreign girl coming here on her own would have to volunteer to go and see an elderly lady, let's say, instead of her neighbors coming and caring about her and just asking how she is or if she needs something.
Yeah.
Or just to spend time, just to have a cup of tea, you know, just 1 hour. How was your week? How did you do? Did you read any new books? Did you watch a nice show on TV? Just, you know, spend some time with the person and see if they're okay.
Right. So, yeah, and that's interesting. But now the question here is what is causing it, and how can we resolve it? It's like everyone is just so busy with their own lives, with their own families, that we've stopped looking beyond that, or is it like we are so many international people in Dublin City now? We're so international, a lot of immigration happening, and everybody is here to work or study. Probably is that causing that individualistic approach? That is everybody too busy?
To be honest, I haven't really researched into this topic too much because I was just here for like 6 or 8 months and I never faced this before. And I don't know if it's, I don't think it's the foreigners. I think, with social media and with, you know, watching TV all day, I think we are busy, but we are not busy. Like, you can always, believe me, find 1 hour to go out of your way to just meet someone or talk to someone. And instead of like looking on your phone the whole time.
Yeah.
like if you, I don't know if you have this on your phone, screen time.
Yeah.
But when you're hitting the end of the week that, today you spent 5 hours on Instagram.
Right.
So you realize that you do have time.
Yeah. Would you, we have to talk about what do we do? Like, what are your hobbies and how do you spend your day now when you're, only you're here by yourself, and how do you keep yourself busy? Yeah, we can talk about that.
Yeah. It's important to keep yourself busy, especially when you're just new to the country. So I always had a lot of hobbies. So I like reading. I started doing embroidery.
Yeah. Oh, very nice.
Hand embroidery. I have some other hobbies. I like to go for walks, and I just want to explore Ireland, as I mentioned, because I really want to get into the local culture and just to see. There's so many beautiful places here. So I haven't been out of Dublin much for now, because there were so many museums here to see, and so many different places, and I love the architecture. Like, I'm really enjoying the buildings here. So for my plan maybe for this summer is to just explore Ireland, and it makes you appreciate the place in which you live. And this helps a lot with this transitioning period of you getting used to a new country and starting to love this country, and starting to feel at home and care about the country,
True.
and the people.
True, absolutely. And I can't deny. So for me, because I'm an only one right now, looking after myself, so independent, but still, in order to fill that gap where I'm not missing my family so much, and I'm not getting deeper into, emotions that, now I'm going to leave, I'm going to go and move to India. So, that emotion can come very strongly in you. So I try to keep myself busy as well, go cycling at times and keep busy with 9 to 5 work, and then the podcast and these things. So I'm learning a new language now. And then, so there are a couple of things that I keep myself busy with, but I completely know that I am hiding. I am, I'm feeling the gap. I'm feeling it. And in the next few years, in next 1 or 2 years, will I be happy with that? Or is it something I really want to do? So we can, sometimes I was talking to somebody, and this person told me that because in West, we end up filling because we are so individualistic society, we end up filling ourselves with a lot of things that, we can take on a lot of different things in our life. But do we really want to do those things, or are we just filling the gap?
There is a limit.
I found something exciting. Okay, I'm going to pick it. Is it to kind of just keep yourself occupied? Because we don't want to, witness your fears, or, that.
This is something we tend to do, especially, I noticed the same thing, like, okay, I'm going to fill up my schedule up to the brim. Like, I'm going to be at home at 10 in the evening, completely exhausted and tired, because I don't want to think about those things, or I don't want to face my loneliness at times.
The fears inside of
nobody wants to address these feelings. But I think by filling your day with things to do, you end up meeting new people. Sometimes you end up making friends.
There are some things that are very difficult to answer. They are very difficult to answer, because I think this is the pattern right now. This is a pattern we have to fit in. Probably when you're by yourself.
But I think eventually this period will just like it happened to me in Cyprus when I first moved there. It took me a few years to make friends and to get used to the country. But once you do, it starts feeling like home.
Right.
And each time you go and you visit your parents, you come back and you're like, okay, I'm home now. It's kind of feeling more or less like home.
Right.
So it takes time, unfortunately.
Right.
But it takes an effort also. You cannot stay at home and fill up your program with things to do to distract yourself. You need to go out, meet people, try to spend time with people for this to happen. It's not going to magically happen from one day to the other.
True. Now, I have a few friends. They visit India very frequently. I know I have a very close friend. She visits India every 3 months. And I think that helps her so much. She's very strongly connected with her family. And she makes sure that she's doing that. But I think from my point, I also realized that it's so important for you to meet your loved ones more frequently.
Probably.
Then it kind of helps you it doesn't give you that shock of suddenly going and transitioning in a different plane. and getting surprised. And then when you come back, you're very different.
Exactly.
You cannot see the life the way you used to see it before, because reality hits you.
I think if you go often, especially like for me, it's easy because I think the flight is like 2 hours and 100 euros. So if I was going like every 2 months just to meet my mother and my father, you'll be also getting tired of them. So you're like, okay, I'm happy to go back to Ireland because, I need my space of my own. So it's a good idea if you could afford it, of course, definitely. Don't wait for 2 years. I mean, COVID made things horrible, right? Because we couldn't visit for 2-3 years. But now, if you could afford it, just go for it. Spend some time with your parents. See that things are not really better there.
Right.
And then come back home with this new energy of,
Yeah, literally. Now, another thing I think we should touch upon is that, even if you are, say, living in a city and you're here and your parents or family is 2 hours away from you, it becomes a lot easier. Like you're more stronger self. You know that there is always somebody there for you 2 hours drive away. And your family is there for your emotional, financial, and other different kind of well-being. You can always rely on a shoulder. But for me, the biggest struggle I had was that being an only child, being so independent, taking my own challenge, leaving my life behind, starting a new life for myself, being alone. And I had to face a lot of things by myself, a lot of emotional aspect I juggled with, mental aspect. While mental, I'm healthy mentally, but
we all hope so. We all hope we are.
But still, you have a lot of conflicts at times going on. So these things, I had to face myself. And then, sometimes you can have financial aspect. You're like, I cannot rely on anyone. I have to be my own army, one woman's army. I had no backup with me. And I think it was good as well. Now I look at that, okay, I had nobody to lean on, no backup with me. So it made me more stronger.
Yeah, this is the other thing. It's difficult, but it makes you, like, since I was probably 20 years old, I couldn't rely on anyone financially. So it's the good thing is that it makes you very strong, and also it makes you solve problems very quickly,
right?
And
quick-witted.
you just and this is something that translates also to your work. Sometimes there is an issue, but you don't lose
you don't lose
hope,
that strength.
You don't feel, oh no, this is something we cannot solve, because you're like, okay, I'm going to find the solution.
You're always with the hope.
So you end up getting stronger and more resilient as a person when you're faced with such challenges, which is a good thing.
Right. Because when I was in India, I was again like 2 hours away from my family for my work. So I would travel to them every weekend when I left home for my career. But they were there. I knew I have a house. I have my parents. They're going to look after everything for me. I was more relaxed. I was chilling out. I was having a happy life.
Exactly. You don't bother yourself as much.
Don't bother. It's such a comfort zone.
So you're kind of spoiled, I would say.
Spoiled, really. And being an only child, I was very spoiled from that. Of course, of course.
So then you end up, then you have the other extreme, like you're spoiled. You have a small struggle in your life. You get depressed because you don't know how to address it, while as now you won't even think about it twice. You're like, okay, I'm going to solve this problem, and you solve it in a week or something.
Right. But then, then I came here and then I had to juggle on everything. But it has, I would say that it has made me stronger and stronger, and self-capable. I do have people like, God is being so grateful. Always meet nice people in my life who helps me get, more stronger, give more clarity. But still now at this time, I find that family is very important. Earlier people used to say to me, I used to take it for granted. I'm like, I'm enjoying my life. I'm okay. I'm happy. Independent. That was my word. Independent. Not anymore. I'm like, I have lived my life. I have had those experiences, but independence is okay at a certain aspect. But family is so important. Very important in so many aspects. You feel stronger. You feel more happier. You feel more supported. And I think you can achieve a lot more when that support is there with you. How do you feel about it?
Now, family is important, also. But like I said, sometimes we need to think about the good part of being alone, in a foreign country. Like, it makes you stronger. It makes you solve your problems faster. Sometimes I feel like there, people who never lived abroad and were never faced with these struggles, they could get maybe a little bit more emotional or, let's say, depressed over the small things. I think we tend to overlook the small things because we are so used to fighting on our own that we just do it. We don't think twice. We go through life easier, kind of
easier. Because you have had those. They say, like, I have wounded my brain so many times that it doesn't hurt anymore.
Exactly. Something like that.
So David Goggins say that that I have hurt my brain so much, or me, that with my push-ups and with my workouts, that now that pain doesn't hit me anymore. So I think that's the level of getting stronger and getting to a lot of realizations in life. So folks, I hope that some of you had resonated with our conversation today. And I would ask you, just a message from me would be that let's strive to put efforts in building stronger and deeper connections with people we meet in our life. Definitely starts with an effort. It starts with that one first handshake and taking it to the next level. Like I met Kamie and we became best friends, and we can share life with each other. And so we are here together, and we do share that bond. So I hope we all find that one person in our life we can lean on, we can depend on, and share our deepest self with. Kamie, would you like to add something?
I would just like to remind people at the end of our conversation to think of where is this individualistic culture taking us, and whether we are ready to face the consequences of being so independent and claiming that we don't need anyone.
Right.
And we can do everything on our own.
So everyone listening to us, think about it. And also make sure that you meet your family often. Go back to the land where you come from and connect back with the community. And then that's where you find yourself.